Hey guys, how you going? Hope you're all doing very well. This evening I'm going to be doing yet another movie review, so hope you find this one interesting. This movie is a mystery film from South Korea, Korean language English subs, released in the year 2018, directed by Chang Dong-lee, and this film is called Burning. So Burning is about a young man. He's very troubled. He has a troubled family life. His father is in custody. He's in trouble with the law, and there's no one to look after the family farm. So he agrees to look after the farm while his father's gone, and it's a very lonely existence. But that lonely existence is about to change upon the reunion of a childhood friend. So this childhood friend is a beautiful woman. At first he doesn't recognise her on the street, but she does, and they start to talk to each other, and this is where a very strong bond is formed. So he starts to develop some pretty creepy behaviour, some obsessive behaviour towards her, but he seems harmless enough. And then one day she tells him that she has to go to Africa for some volunteer work, and that while she's gone, can he look after her apartment? So he agrees to do this. He starts to demonstrate more creepy behaviour, but then that creepy behaviour threatens to boil over into something dangerous when this woman returns with a friend named Ben. Now Ben is also Korean. He's very attractive and he's very charming, and this main character believes Ben is actually starting to take the affections away from him, and so this makes him jealous, and jealousy can make a man do very silly things, and it could go down a very sinister path. So whether or not it does is something you're going to have to find out for yourself, because that's as far as I'm going with my synopsis. Now my thoughts on Burning. Ever since Bong Joon-ho won the Academy Award with Parasite for the best film, it was the first time a foreign movie ever won this award, everyone is talking about South Korean cinema. Everyone is talking about Parasite. And I believe it's well deserved. Bong Joon-ho delivered a masterpiece in Parasite, and the more people that recognise South Korean cinema, the more opportunities South Korean cinema is going to get. And so I believe no one does it better as far as South Korea is concerned with movies, is that when they deliver a knockout experience, it is unlike anything that you will see. Parasite is just one of many brilliant movies that South Korea have produced, and it's not until now that these movies are getting recognised. And so I absolutely love the fact that more people are looking at South Korean cinema, and I've been a fan of South Korean cinema for at least 10 years, a long time before people had heard of Bong Joon-ho. And so coming into Burning, I wasn't knowing exactly what to expect. Now this is a film festival circuit movie. Is that it's not a mainstream film like Parasite. It's not a movie that has actually exploded on the world stage. It is a very quiet movie, and so for that, a lot of these sorts of movies can go under my radar and they can go unnoticed. And I hadn't actually watched Burning. This has actually came out a few years ago, but it wasn't until now that I watched it. And that's the problem with film festival circuit movies, is that they are definitely under the radar type of movies. They're very quiet, and if you're not actually in tune with the film festival circuit, they can be unnoticed. And so Burning was one of those movies, and I was actually very intrigued to see this film. Now the reason why it didn't get more recognition remained to be seen for me. Is that, was it a movie that was going to be for a very acquired taste? Was it going to be one of those artsy films that is the reason why it wasn't known on a mainstream stage? And so they are questions that They were the questions that gave me a little bit of hesitation coming into Burning, but I saw the trailer and I thought this looks fairly interesting. And so was it going to be a film that I was going to be excited about, or was it a movie that I thought, okay, well, it would have been better going unnoticed? So after watching Burning, I will say that this is on par with Parasite, or maybe even a little bit better. I absolutely love this movie. This is the reason why I love South Korean cinema, and this is the reason why I'm a film fan in general, is that when a movie comes along like this, it makes putting up with the bad ones worth it. Is that this is a film that is everything that reminded me about the works of Michael Haneke. It's basically the work of ambiguity, it's the work of subtlety, and it's the work of intelligence. Now this is a film that goes for 2 hours and 20 minutes, and a lot of people are going to see this film as very, very monotonous, very, very boring. But underneath that boredom, there is a very deliberate subtlety that creates something that is incredibly unnerving. This is a movie where the mystery just molds something within your mind that elevates it to a very three-dimensional level. Is that this is a film that is very deliberate in the fine details, and those fine details, when they combine together, just make something that is very, very challenging. This is a film that is a theorist's dream. Is that because there are so many questions that this movie possesses that aren't answered, I believe that it's going to create endless possibilities as to what you think this film's about. This is a director who has actually left it open to interpretation. This is a director that, because the questions are unanswered and they're never really, it doesn't tie up loose ends, it just makes the film so much fun. And at first I thought, okay, there was a long period in this movie that really dragged, but when I watched the movie again, those really long periods that dragged started to fill in a few more holes with the theories that I believe the movie had. Is that this could be a drama, this could be a romance, or could even be a horror film. And to not know exactly what genre this movie belongs to just creates that really unique flavour that you don't see very often. In fact, I can't remember seeing a movie this intriguing in a very, very long time. As far as intriguing films are concerned, this is something that I have never seen before. Is that this is a film about love, it's a film about obsession, but then all of a sudden there are so many other possibilities to what this movie could be about. The script is absolutely phenomenal. The script is very careful not to give too much away. It always has that mystery, and the mystery is always evolving in a way where it doesn't tie up those loose ends. So at the end of the movie, I was left thinking, oh, okay then. Is it about this? Is it about that? And because there's so much grey area, it makes the movie chilling. To me, it was actually absolutely chilling. But to another person, it could be a tragic romance story. Or it could be something completely different. And this is what I love about movies, is that when it forces you to use your mind, it forces you to think about something, it forces you to use your intelligence. It's not holding your hand. It's not about explosions. This is a film that really scared me, but at the same time, there's hardly any violence in the film whatsoever. And so I thought there was so much more to it within your mind. This is a very psychologically taxing film, and it's a very psychologically demanding film. This demands your attention from start to finish. So the boring parts, when I saw the movie again, those boring parts, because they've got so much mystery, it's like you're playing detective. You're got to pick up those very intricate clues as to piecing together what you believe this film is and putting together your theory and discussing your theory with other people. So not a lot of films can do this, and I believe Burning just really knocked it on the head as far as creating levels of interest. The interest is used in a way where a lot of other filmmakers have tried, but ultimately cannot do that, because at the end of a film, the common viewer wants a conclusion, wants to know what it was about. Then they don't want to use their minds. In the world of ADHD, basically attention deficit disorder, no one wants to think about things. But when movies come along that cater for that audience, it becomes a little bit disappointing, because it kind of halts the replay value. But when you've got a film like this, there were so many loose ends, those loose ends provide something that I thought was incredibly entertaining. So I thought to myself, when I was watching the movie, I was absolutely loving it, and I thought, okay, well, this whole movie is going to hinge on the ending. How is it going to finish? And if it finishes in the wrong way, it was going to completely fall down. But I was so happy with the way that this director finished this film, is because, again, it doesn't really answer too much. And those unanswered questions, as I said, evolve something that just plays on your mind. And I just thought it was absolutely brilliant. I thought the acting was brilliant. Is that the actors had to do a very good job at not giving too much away. There's mystery to each and every character. There's mystery to each and every situation. And those theories that come from those unanswered questions just make it a movie that is so multi-layered. I thought the soundtrack was great. There were some scenes that were phenomenally shot. There were scenes that reminded me of Michael Haneke, French noir movies. And everything that made French noir so good is evident in this film. It's all about intrigue, it's all about ambiguity, and this is exactly why this movie excels in so many areas. And so the only criticism I have is not a criticism for me, but for the average viewer, you're going to find this incredibly boring. But for me, I found it incredibly intriguing. I thought it was very deliberate in what it was doing, and it produces something that is the reason why I love films, and I love South Korean films. And so there's no surprise that I'm going to give Burning 5 stars. This is an absolute masterpiece. Alright guys, that's it for my review. Hope you enjoyed it. Till next time, keep watching movies, and I'll see you later.